Thank you for taking a few moments to listen in today. This is Josh Belk with the Belk on Business podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about the B's of business relationships. I think a lot of what we're going to kind of talk a little bit about today is, I think also would apply to our personal relationships as well, but I'm going to focus more on the business side. So the B's of business relationships. So I have 5 things jotted down here, 5 points jotted down here that start with BE or B. So first of all, be present in the moment. Be present in the moment. So whether you're on a sales call, whether you're dealing with a team member, whether it's a conversation with an existing client, really try to focus on being present. How often do you think about you're having a conversation with someone and they're on their cell phone, they're looking down. Think of many times I know for myself our calls or our sales calls, our monthly calls that we have, or quarterly calls we have with clients are over Zoom. And nothing's worse, and if you're watching this on video, than you taking your cell phone and kind of looking down and doing this while you're on the particular call. And I know sometimes when I'm talking, I'm trying to get a point across or having a conversation, I see them do it. I begin to wonder: are they truly listening? Are they truly present on what is going on in this particular moment, or are they distracted? And we so easily become distracted. And I think that if we really kind of focus on being present in the moment, it's going to improve that relationship. We're focused on what they're saying, we're paying attention, and we're listening. Try to give them the same respect that we would have. If a team member comes in, they have a question. I know for most of our office, we do have some remote employees, but for most of our office, we are actually physically in the office. And when a team member comes in, to make sure that I divert my attention and give them full attention, I'm very present to be able to help answer their question, to show that relationship is valued. When I'm on a sales call, that I'm paying attention. What are their needs? What can I help them with? And to mentally be taking notes. I'm the type of person that I can't look away and even jot things down, or I'll miss something. So what I've done is bringing somebody else on the calls with me to be able to take notes, so I can be more present in that moment, so I can pay attention. I know what's going on, and I'm following along. So if I want to improve my business relationships, have an effective business relationship, I really need to focus on being present in the moment and not being distracted. Number 2, to be authentic. To be authentic. And this word kind of gets used a lot, and I think a lot more, and I think it's extremely important, an extremely important word. And the reason we want to be authentic is to allow for the other person to fully understand and trust us, and vice versa. If they're being authentic as well, then we can more fully understand them. We can understand their needs. It helps to build a trusting relationship. And this will help set expectations, and will allow for us to maneuver through any difficulties that may and probably will arise in the relationship. I know that in recent days, even as recent as yesterday, kind of dealing with a difficult relationship. I'll be actually flying out here in a few hours to go down, and I'll be seeing this person, I think, and we'll be able to have a conversation. And I know that if we're both our authentic selves and we're showing up in that way, we'll be able to work through the difficulties of the moment that we're having right now, and be able to work through them. If we're authentic in our relationships, think about with our team members. If we're authentic with them and they're authentic with us, it'll provide us a lot of insight. We'll know how to motivate, encourage, empower, and influence the person. And so if we're showing up as our authentic selves, they're showing up as their authentic selves, and there's that trust in that relationship to be able to do that, to be able to show up and be authentic and to be vulnerable, we'll know, how can I help that client? How can I help that team member? How can I empower them to be the best version of themselves? How can I encourage them? And how can I motivate them? And so authenticism. So first, being present in the moment. Next, be authentic, be vulnerable. Next, and I think it's extremely important, one of our core values that we have here at our firm, as an accounting firm, is that of integrity, to be honest. Operate with integrity. No relationship will be able to sustain for the long term if it's built on a foundation of anything that isn't honest. Okay, and so we want to make sure that there's that foundation of strong moral values that are mutually agreed upon. None of us want to be sold and kind of eventually feel like we didn't get what we were told that we were going to get. To be honest, if there's some area that we can't deliver, or we can't deliver on time, it's not an area that we may be able to provide the best value, say that on the front end. Simply let them know, this is not the best area for us to help. Had a relationship or a client here in the past few weeks They showed up and on a call and they had a specific need, and kind of went through and just kind of one of those situations that I just didn't feel like I had what it took to be able to help them. And so what I ended up doing is reaching out to someone else that I knew that could help them, and I was honest with them on the call. Now, I would have loved to, and of course it's something that I could have monetized on, maybe I could have figured it out, that type of thing, but I felt that I was going to be most honest, and I was going to operate with the highest level of integrity to let the client know that, I'm not really good at this. And so maybe I'm going to bring somebody alongside that may be able to serve you better. And so that's kind of a matter of integrity, and to show up and, of course, never to lie about what we can or can't do. To always be honest there, but even going beyond that, even in the little areas, not to embellish. I was on a coaching call with my particular coach here within the last couple weeks, and it's really something he kind of pressed me on. And he said, Josh, we need to make sure that when it comes to integrity and honesty, even the little things, do you even slightly embellish a story? Do you even just kind of slightly skew things a little bit? That's a lack of integrity. You allow for those areas to sneak in. It's going to grow into bigger issues. So to make sure that we are always honest, we always operate from a position of integrity in our relationships. So be present in the moment, be authentic, be honest. Next, to be grateful or be complimentary. Okay, so this is a key in maintaining existing relationships. If you are grateful for the relationship, you are more likely to continue to deliver goods and services to the customer, and it will motivate you to serve your team in a way that allows for them to know that you're there for them. So to always kind of lead with gratitude. I think if we're complimentary, if we're grateful, we're going to really focus on noticing even the little things that our team members may be doing well. And sorry, I think the phone was ringing here in the background. But to always be focusing on the areas that we can find a way to compliment. We can find a way to express gratitude and to focus on those little things. If we're doing that, if we show up with gratitude, we show up to be complimentary. Think about with our team, that will really help to build morale inside the company. And I'm not perfect at this at all. I really struggle with this. And sometimes as business owners, we kind of pay our team members and we think that, okay, well, that's good enough. Well, it's not really good enough. To really kind of focus, maybe we gave a team member a project and maybe they did it well. Compliment them for it. Hey, I appreciate you doing this. Thank you for taking care of this. To make a note of these things, and we had our team meeting just right before, our weekly team meeting right before this, and that's a good time to kind of maybe bring things up in front of the team. I appreciate you taking care of this. Kind of went beyond the what was asked in this particular area. You have a particular strength in this area, and I appreciate that. It really helps to bring value to our clients. When you're dealing with a client, find ways to be complimentary of them as well. I was on a call this last week, and it was a client that we had we went through a couple weeks of just having a little bit of a difficult time, and the relationship just wasn't as strong as it had been, and I take a lot of ownership and responsibility for that. Well, on this last call, I kind of noticed that on social media that he had been really kind of working in a certain area, and I brought that up on the front end of the call. Hey, I happened to notice this, and I had some questions, and just kind of wanted him to know that I really valued the relationship. Because it wasn't that too many months ago that it was kind of, we were wondering if the relationship was even going to continue at all. So I knew I had to lead in a way that kind of noticed that he was working in certain areas, and I wanted to be complimentary of that, and kind of get back to the position of I'm grateful for the relationship. I'm grateful for the fact that that they're there, that we're able to provide a service for them, and you know what, and vice versa. They were able to express gratitude for the work that we had done as well. So to always be thinking about what are areas that I can show gratitude, what are areas that I can be complimentary of that particular individual or that team, and then lastly to always be kind. And in our meeting here we had just a short time ago, I mentioned to the team dealing with in response to an email yesterday, and it was a situation that was a little bit more difficult. And I can be very quick, very biting, and actually very condescending if I react. And so I'll be very unkind. And just kind of the nature naturally just what I fight against. I want to initially lash out. Anybody that knows me well will tell you that. I can be very, very biting, very condescending, very sarcastic, and it's not a good way to build relationships. If anything, that will tear at the fabric of a relationship. And so if you're dealing with a difficult situation and your immediate response isn't to be kind, is to really allow for kind of a little bit of a space there, take a step back, go back to thinking about why am I grateful for this relationship, what are the positives that this person has, and then lead with that. So allow yourself a little bit of a space there before you respond, and then get back to the point of why am I grateful for this relationship, and then be kind. And if you can't be kind, sometimes it's best to not either say anything at all or simply just to take a step back. Simply let them know, give me a few moments here and I'll get right back to you. And to always be kind, to not be condescending. Once again, I think kindness, if we lead with kindness, we lead with gratitude, if we're present in the moment, if we're doing these types of things, we are, with rare exception, our relationships are going to strive. That relationship that we have with a client, that relationship we have with a team member, the possibility of that potential client working with us, all of those are going to greatly improve if we're leading with these 5 B's. So be present in the moment, be focused, show that team member, show that client that you care, be authentic, be vulnerable, be honest, be grateful, be complimentary, and always be kind. This is Josh Belk with the Belk on Business podcast. Hopefully this particular podcast did bring you some value. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Have a wonderful day.